Experience. What do employers want? Welcome to Australian Mining for New Starters, and in today's video we're going to carry on in our series going into the research you need to do in order to get a mining job. And today we're going to talk about what experience that the employers want. And it's from somebody that's been in the industry a long time. It's pretty easy to answer this question. What the employers want is somebody that knows how their mine works and what's going on site. People wrap themselves up thinking that they need to know how the equipment works and all that sort of stuff. And yes, that's important. But what really blows the wind up everybody's skirt in the industry is people that actually know how the mine works. So you can be left alone to get on with the job. It's as simple as that. So if we go over to the sponsors training, they've got a page that's entry-level mining jobs experience. And this talks about the experience or the knowledge that an underground employer wants out of a new starter. And again, it's not knowing how to drive the truck. I actually had a conversation with somebody the other day about even if you had 3 months experience driving the same truck on the surface as you do underground, you just still wouldn't be able to walk straight onto site and go straight into the job. In fact, you'd only probably be 3 or 4 days ahead of somebody that's just starting, because that's how long it really takes to learn how to drive the truck. The rest of the time is trying to get your head around what's going on, how to get in and out of the mine, what what load you're taking up, trying to get in and out of traffic. All that sort of stuff is in on top of you, as well as all the safety stuff that you've got to learn and all that sort of stuff. And that's the experience that the employers are after. They want people to know how their mine works. So these are some of the questions that they might ask in an interview that somebody that's got 6 months experience. So what do you need to do if you smell stench gas? You need to stop and go straight to a refuge chamber and report in. Secondary ventilation needs what to be effective? It needs primary ventilation. How should you park your LV underground? 45-degree angle into the wall, park brake on, flashing light going, in gear, reverse if going down the hill, facing up the decline in first gear. It's all pretty simple. But if you can show up knowing how all this information before you get there on day one, it just makes it a lot easier for the employer to hire you to start with, and then for you to find your feet underneath yourself. And this is how this is what we'd use for hard rock underground, but you can apply exactly the same sort of philosophy to surface jobs or in oil and gas or whatever you want to do in the industry. Find out, how the site works, what sort of roster they have, how they fly in and out, what accommodation that they use, whether they need tickets on site or whether they don't need tickets on site. One of the big things is that, most of the hard rock jobs, you don't need tickets. They have to issue all their own tickets on site. Whether it's, constructions and shutdown work, they all use the R2 ticketing system. So again, this is all research that you need to be doing into the specific area of the industry that you're trying to get into. And when you're trying to give the employer what they want, that experience, because everybody says I can't get a job without experience. How do you get experience? From the hard rock underground perspective, and I know from in the pit as well, if you can show up knowing the rules and basically what's going on and can use the same language as everybody else is using, then you've genuinely got something to offer them. Because teaching you how to use the equipment, it doesn't take too long. Teaching you how everything else works around the mine so you can be left alone in the equipment to use it, that's what takes all the time. And so if you can pitch up already knowing that, or you can show them in the interview that you already know that, then you've generally got something to offer them. So that's what the employers want with experience. They don't want equipment experience particularly. It's nice, but what they really want is somebody that knows how their mine works, because they can work with that. Whereas if you've got lots of experience in equipment and you still don't know how the mine works, there's every chance that they might get you up there and you might not work out. And I know people that have got sort of, 10 to 15 years in civil think, how can that work out? I've got all this experience on the equipment. Well, if you can't work out how the mine works and, which direction you're supposed to go in and what everybody else is doing around you quick enough, then they're not backwards in coming forwards and tapping you on the shoulder, because there's a lot of money involved and they need everybody to get up to speed as quick as possible. So I hope you found that information helpful on experience, and if you've got any more questions that you'd like answered about trying to get into the industry and the research that they need to do, please send them through. If you could share this information around and like and subscribe the channel. Thanks.